Johnny. Like that introduced?
Yes. I'm Emily.
I'm Graham.
I'm Maddie.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Zach.
And we had Escape from Camp 14
By
by Blaine Harden. So we did a creative scene and we named it The Fence because we based it off of chapter 15, which was when Shin escaped from Camp 14. So this is our scene. One part we had to like black it out because Maddie was supposed to, no, I couldn't figure it out.
Okay.
So we were, Maddie was supposed to be dead on a fence, but she got uncomfortable of laying on there. So she walked off, but we'll tell you when she's actually dead. Yeah. So,
I have to talk and I'm sorry.
Early the next morning, a foreman from the garment factory herded Shin, Park, and some other prisoners up toward the mountain. They were set to work using axes to branch off log trees and stacking wood. It was cold and the wind was blowing, but it was very lucky of Shin and Park to be put on firewood duty, as it placed them within a stone's throw of the fence. Guards were patrolling the fence, but Shin noticed that there was lengthy intervals between patrols. The forearm was a prisoner, and therefore he had no weapons either. This meant that no one close could fire a weapon at Shin or Park. Shin and Park waited until dusk, when it would be more difficult for the guards to track them. They worked and waited until it was time. Shin and Park made their way to the fence, trimming trees on the way. No one seemed to notice them. Shin and Park were staring at the fence, telling themselves that they would be fine as long as they didn't touch the wires. Shin was surprised that he was not afraid, although he noticed Park was distracted. Once the guards went by Park spoke for the first time in a while.
I don't know if I can do this. I have to. This is our last chance. It's our only chance.
Shin feared it would be months or years before they would have another opportunity like this one. He could not wait anymore.
Let's run.
Shin led the way until they got over to the fence, but he slipped and fell to his knees. Park got to the fence first. He fell to his knees and climbed through the fence. Seconds later, Shin saw sparks and the smell of burning flesh. Shin got to his feet, but it was too late. Park had stopped moving. The weight of Park's body pulled the fence down and left a small gap in the fence. Without hesitation, Shin crawled over Park's body, using it as an insulator. Shin was almost through the fence when his lower leg slipped off Park and came into contact with the fence. Shin had gotten severe burns that bled for weeks. It would be a couple hours before he noticed his injuries. Shin ran and stumbled, getting as far from the fence as he could. He would not slow down for a couple hours.
okay, so Maddie was dead for that last part.
Pretty good for a dead guy, Maddie.
My foot.
You have enough time probably to get through your summary.
Okay, Sarah
Keep
was the
going.
guard in that.
I'll get it.
Yeah, you didn't see
You didn't
me.
see Sarah.
I was
You
like
seen- yeah,
this.
you seen
Yeah,
Sarah.
I saw you in the
She
background.
was
saw
and then
That was
I was
really
Shin. That was Park.
You were just like, you were walking, you were like, I don't think I can do this. You kept walking.
Johnny, you're right in front of me.
So Sarah.
Oh, yeah.
Just like, okay. So we had Escape from Camp 14 now, and Blaine Harden is the author. So the summary. It takes place in a political camp in North Korea, in Camp 14. And Shin is like, it's based off of Shin, and he's the main character. And it's kind of hard to explain, but he was in Camp 14 and he was put there because of his parents. Because everyone in Camp 14, they stay there because of what their parents or what their grandparents did. So even though Shin didn't get in trouble and do anything, his parents did. So that's why he's there. And then he doesn't really, in Camp 14, you have a lot of trust issues with people. You don't get connected with them, you could say, because of...
Every attention please, first one announcement. Baseball game today has been canceled. Softball game is still on at TMB. Game time is 5:30. Also, there is no baseball practice tonight after school. Gabby Tuft and Catherine Vogt, please come to the office. Thank you.
Okay, So it's based off of Shin, who escaped from Camp 14, one of the only known people to escape. And he, so as I was saying before, he had trust issues when he got out, because in Camp 14, no one trusted each other. You were on your own, basically. And the author, he is a reporter, and he met with Shin, and that's how this story came to be. And then this book takes the readers through Shin's story of his life, and the build up to his getaway, and how he endured his life after Camp 14. So he, what?
Or not.
Okay, so he had a family. He had a brother, sister, and dad, and he never seen his father, or he never really saw his father, only a couple of times, and he lived with his mother until he finished school. And school wasn't really school, it was more of you would learn and then you would work. And he had a brother, but he never saw his brother either, because you didn't stay with your family. Once you were old enough, you would go to work and you'd stay at that work. You wouldn't go with your family. So they'd see each other a couple of times a year. And then one evening, his mother and brother, they tried to escape, which they didn't make it. And then this led Shin to having to watch the execution of his brother and sister. And then that led him to an underground political camp inside Camp 14. And here he met Uncle, which he learned the truth about the outside world and how to trust more. And then he got out, and then he met Park, the person he tried to escape with. And then Shin was not close with anyone, and then he started getting closer to Shin, or closer to Park, and then they became friends, and then they thought of the plan to escape. And then
The entire book also basically takes place from his young childhood all the way up until his
Early 20s.
early 20s-ish, yeah. So it's over a pretty long period of time.
do you want us to keep going?
Do you have any further summary?
Well, we don't want to really you obviously
Then
know
we can
he
stop there
escapes,
today.
but we don't want to give you away.
A lot of the work of the book were basically just him describing conditions in life in North Korea or in the camp for Shin.
Yeah, it did a lot of. It was
A lot of
really.
the labor he did as well.
Yeah.
And in the book, it shows pictures of him, and right here is a diagram of what they did for torture, cutting off their fingers, hanging people above a fire, putting them in isolation and making them work and tie them up onto poles.
Good. We'll pick it up there tomorrow, guys. Good start.